that works. Well, for some reason, it seems like the live stopped working when we get into presentation.
Still is having problems?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
I know the last, well, I think last month we didn't have. No, I don't think.
No, we didn't have one.
You got the extension? Donaldson was going to in October, like that. Last month was Vet and UW.
Oh yeah, we did have
UW
that.
had one.
Yeah, we did have that.
I don't know if it works or not. I guess I didn't check.
I didn't either. Do we want to run this other one or no?
Run what?
The other recorder? You don't have to. I don't care.
So I'm not. No, I don't think it's necessary. I'm not posting the videos on the county clerk's webpage anymore like I used to, because I just have a link to the YouTube channel. So if they don't, well, I guess we can always upload this to the YouTube channel if the live doesn't work. So yeah, we should record it here. We should, just to be safe. Has that changed at all?
No.
I haven't done that in a while. I won't do it yet, but.
You could.
What are we doing?
What? What? Absolutely. Next month, there you go.
Oh.
Hello, sir.
How are you? Not ready for Christmas?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Are you preaching tonight?
No.
All dressed up?
Yep, I do that every once in a while.
Incognito.
I try to surprise them. That way they don't put me to work if I'm dressed up.
I love it.
You all west already?
Yeah,
How was it?
great. We got back.
Yeah?
We didn't get anything, but it was a pretty nice trip.
Good. That's all that matters. It's nice. I call it a bonus if I bring something back.
Yeah, actually, once we got back, it was a relief that we didn't have dead animal parts to have to worry about what to. But no, we just on all the way back, times we've been skunked, and you know we were disappointed, but this time we felt just as good as when we went out. So, and when we got back, we each managed to kill a buck, so we got venison. Yeah, had some super people. They treated us well. Met some gals from California that are some real hunters. They hunt all over the United States. Well, they were shooting 500 yards and better.
Oh no. So they're long range.
No, they weren't. They, you know, you'll see on TV programs
Yeah.
where the long range shooters, well, they practice and they've got weapons that can do that. And they've got scopes that they can dial in. These people, good people, but they didn't have anything like that. And so they're just kind of flailing away. They lost some animals, which is too bad when you're talking elk, you know, big, beautiful animals. And they killed some. But this one gal from California, she's looking for a mule deer. Took her 14 years to draw the tag for this area this season. And she had an elk license. She killed a 5x5 elk. And then I mentioned to her, you want to get a mule deer bigger than what you've got at home. And she says, no. She says, I've got a 31 incher at home. Well, that's those are your trophies, you know. But she got a nice one.
Must be some big ones out there.
Oh yeah. And some of it's luck too.
Here, I just wore a pair of blue jeans.
Everett, are you gonna be at personnel on Thursday?
Yeah.
Good. I may not.
Okay.
Mark? Mr. Waddle? How's things?
Oh, just living the dream, buddy. Hey, Everett.
Hi, Bob.
Still working?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I told Debbie, as long as there's stuff to do, we can do it. If I can just keep Junior in line, that's from her full-time job right there. Oh,
Rolling down past on 21, going towards your place. or
Yeah.
towards Daly's. He had the truck with no, just a trailer and a sound. He
Oh.
had to go like a bat out of heck. He had the cold poured right to it.
I keep telling him every day, I says, take your time, we ain't under no deadline.
Nate was with me, and Nate was kind of pumping and driving. And what's your call? Look at, it's just like somebody said, they'll tear all the equipment up and then leave it lay.
I told him, Debbie was right there. He almost like he's got a sixth sense when I go talk to her. Tell her what's going on. He's gotta come up there. I says, Christopher, you gotta get your head out of your ass and grow up. Says, your mother needs you now more than ever. And then Christina come, I says, when I was leaving, I says, I gotta talk to you a minute. Holy gracious. I says, and you, young lady, will tell you the same speech I give your brother. Get your ass out of your head, or your head out of your ass, and straighten up and fly right. Your mother needs you, not you two squabbling over each other. Who's top dog or whatever. But she don't know what she wants to do. I said, whatever you do, Deb, I'm behind you 100%. You want to keep going, great. If you want to, but I said, my thoughts are, I said, see an attorney. But if you try to get rid of that all at once, they're going to have a picnic with you. Well, that's what I said. Or try it for a year or so and see what I said. I need to talk to Mark.
Hey,
So
you're fine. Just don't mind me. I'm throwing my jacket.
that's all right. I threw mine on all the spare chairs. But I said, do what we can. I says, I ain't gonna go nuts like Gary did and did stuff because I can't. I never did it. It never took me along. I says, it'll be so much an hour. I know what the prices are pretty much. And everybody I've talked to, Tim Slowly, Paul Miller, gotta do some work for Sean Long. Yeah, whatever it takes. He says, I'm not gonna gouge you guys or say, oh, we were here 12 hours and we're only here 10. I will not do that. And then Debbie's worried we ain't gonna make ends meet. I says, Debbie, if we charge what Gary charged and do a good job in that, we're gonna be fine. Well, he wasn't the cheapest, but we always did a good job. We tried to, Mark. Debbie said, he says, "Oh, I ain't feeling real good, don't know if it's damn cold or what it is." He never told me how
Oh,
cold.
come on, Donna,
He says,
hurry
we'll
up.
take off till Monday. We'll take the weekend
Hi,
off,
Larry.
Thursday off.
How's it going? Plugging along?
He called me, or somebody from the fire department, I think they were Johnson. Said, "You want, the family wanted me to know." I says, "You mean Bob?" "Oh, Gary." Well, anyway, I talked to Debbie, I waited till Monday, following Monday. I says, she says, "I went down there, we sat in bed, and upright bed, glasses on, TV, wearing, a bottle of water, sitting there, never touched that. So it was fast, whatever it was. So you said chair in the bed, I mean, watching TV. I said, yeah. That's what she told me. She says, "I should have went down the night before, but we moved to Bob here."
Huh?
Oh, okay, come up when he normally does in the morning.
That'd be good.
She went down and then and then that night, it took me to work.
No.
Things we didn't get out.
Jim Blasek used to be the
So I said,
mayor in Watoma,
her brother
and
says,
he is a veteran.
"You
He
called me,
was
2 of us can
injured.
handle
Shoot.
it."
I think he was, they were out doing some kind of stuff and he got thrown out the end of the helicopter.
How's Jerry doing?
So he's had a lot of,
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Surviving.
Surviving, that's about it, yeah.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, surviving.
I know,
okay.
that's why I
I
guess
guess I took one, I
Okay.
don't need one.
I've been like this since noon today.
Yeah, I understand. Thank you. You're on the tight ship, huh?
What we got, three hearings Thursday night?
Hi, Mary.
Yeah.
How are you, hon?
Fine, thank
Can
you.
make it tomorrow, probably.
I won't.
Here's our
I
picture.
didn't know for sure. Patrick, you gonna make it tomorrow for zoning?
How we doing?
Yeah. Okay. Zoning tomorrow, gonna be there?
AM, huh?
Yeah.
Mary,
Or 8:45.
would you do me a favor and go get me that?
Said I should have
box over
packed the
there,
lunch and
that
stayed right here.
flat box?
We could have done it right now.
Oh, well.
Thank you, sir. And it's not cookies. Huh? Yeah, nope, not sweet rolls. Thank you. Is it 7? Good evening. Let's call the meeting to order. Megan, would you please do roll call for us? And please bring your mics down and speak into them, or I'll have to come over there.
Mr. Bonfiglio. Mr. Piaski.
Here.
Mr. Tim.
Here.
Mr. Cap.
Here.
Mr. Eckstein.
Here.
Mr. Jarvis.
Here.
Mrs. Collada.
Here.
Mr. King.
Here.
Mr. Wadle.
Here.
Mr. Lauer.
Here.
And Mr. Kirschner.
Here.
Thank you very much. My agenda doesn't have this on here anywhere, but I think we'll stand and have our brief prayer and then pledge of allegiance. I have the wrong agenda, that's why. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, who's trying to trick me? But I've got an agenda. I had the wrong one. Who tricked me by putting a commission on aging agenda up here? All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
I so move.
A second.
I had a motion by Mr. Bonfiglio, second by Mr. Wadle.
Sure.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next, we'll approve the minutes of the November 3rd, 2020 monthly meeting / the 2021 county budget hearing. Motion by Mr. Eckstein, second by Mr. Piaski. Do you have any questions or comments concerning the minutes or the public hearing? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We have no unfinished business, but at this time, I would like to, hang on. The Waushara County 4-H got a plaque, and it's really a nice one. It says, "Heroes aren't born, but they are created in times of strife and struggle. Everyone is capable of being a hero in their own way. Often without even knowing it, they are a hero and those around them. To those around them." And this is a quote from an unknown person. And it says, "With deepest gratitude from the staff at Red Granite Correctional Institute, 2020. The 4-H, when COVID first, when it first started, they made a lot of masks and donated them to the Red Granite Prison. And I believe this is the highest honor that the Correctional Institute gives. So we are going to put it up here on the wall somewhere. We'll pick a spot. Yeah. Okay. Next, I would like to thank Mary Kunash because she donated this, and it's a picture of the canine and their handlers, and that will go on the wall here. Thank you very much, Mary. We appreciate it. It's a beautiful picture, and it's from the canine calendar, and I believe Sheriff Zulke has some with him if anyone is inclined to buy one. They're only $20, a real deal. And it's a 15-month calendar, and the money goes to Crime Stoppers and the canine. So, all right. Now I had my commercial, and we'll go on to County Administrator's Monthly Report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Members of the board, Mr. Jarvis, who's appearing remotely, and I don't know if we have any, I don't have any private citizens here, so I will take that as a good sign. I want to echo Mrs. Collada's remarks about our 4-Hers. I know a lot of times those of us who are older tend to get down on these kids today, et cetera, et cetera. These kids today, these 4-Hers will be running this world before you know it. And Heidi and the folks who work with 4-H are doing a heck of a job in instilling in them the principles of good citizenship and empathy for others, particularly when we're talking about prisoners at the Red Granite Correctional Institution. Anyone who's residing at a enclosed facility, whether it's a prisoner or someone in a nursing home, once COVID gets in there, it spreads like wildfire. And Dostoevsky, the Russian author, once said, "You can measure the degree of civilization of a society by entering its prisons." And I think it says wonders not only for our 4-Hers, but for all of us, that we actually take measures like this to ensure that prisoners are not unnecessarily ill or die, because 95% of them will return to society. So we do have an obligation to them. That's my commercial.
Okay.
All right. It's Christmas. Thank you, Mrs. Collada, for the decorations. We did do some decorating here. It is not in keeping with the regular standards we've had over the last couple of years, because the 4-Hers do not do the decorating. Their activities are restricted due to COVID. And also, you're not going to have the 4-H choir singing to you tonight. And probably the thing that's really going to cut the deepest is we don't have the little reception for you in the Sunshine Room, again, because of COVID. But things will be getting better. On the COVID front, since we last met, we've had one vaccine that's been approved by the FDA. Another one will be approved probably sometime this week. The timetable is that perhaps by the middle of the year, next year, we may be able to get everybody vaccinated, or at least enough people that we could have herd immunity. There will be setbacks, I'm sure, in production and distribution, et cetera, et cetera. My second commercial message of the night is, one of the things that's very disturbing is not the development of the vaccine. In fact, it's astounding that it was done that quickly, and it shows what Americans can do once they put their mind to anything, whether it's winning a two-front war
or sending a man to the moon. We can also develop a vaccine in a matter of 7-8 months. But the problem that we're going to face is there's a lot of people, either because of disinformation or because they're concerned at the speed that this was done, that there may be safety issues and may be reluctant to be vaccinated. So please use your status as opinion leaders and community leaders to let people know that this vaccine is completely safe. And I think I probably have the support of Ms. Waffle. Yes, she's nodding her head. She also agrees with me, and she knows a lot more about medicine than I do. So please get the word out on that. As far as the pandemic and the recession, we are still, as I said yesterday, the executive committee, the ship is afloat. We're not taking on any water, but we are keeping an eye on what comes down the road from what's going on in Washington, and that does affect us greatly, whether it's the Roads to Recovery, which is the pass-through state program for the CARES Act. That has affected us here, helped us quite a bit. There's been talk about further stimulus programs from the United States government. The latest is Mr. McConnell, representing the Republicans, is backing off a bit on his insistence that there be a civil immunity for people who contract COVID at work. And Mrs. Pelosi is backing off of her insistence that there be a financial package to aid state and local governments. I know that the package to aid state and local governments has been derided as a blue state bailout, but I like to think of it as a red county bailout, but nobody in Washington is listening to me. So we'll see what happens. The good thing about the plan that may get done before the Congress recesses before the end of the year is it will provide some assistance to employers along the lines of the Paycheck Protection Program to those who are unemployed. And there's also, and I haven't dug in deep on this, but there's also some dollars for rural broadband access, which has really come to light as our schools shut down and as our economy is going more and more towards to the internet. I know, Mr. Bonfiglio, don't you work largely remotely as well? So this is something that really is going to become more and more important. So we'll keep an eye on that. One of my personal heroes, Winston Churchill, was reputed to have said, "Never let a good crisis go to waste." And we've got two right now. We've got the pandemic and we have the recession. And because of that, we are not stopping or holding off on our plans to renovate the buildings here, not just because it's something that we want to do, but also the fact that we haven't done it for a long time, and the fact that and every month that we don't do it, it costs us more money in terms of heating, cooling, and lighting the buildings. Also inefficiencies in the way the workspaces are used, and inefficiencies in the way our information technology system is. So we are moving forward on that. And the reason we're moving forward on that is because this recession, and there always is something good out of something bad, is creating historically low interest rates. So we are going to be moving forward on that so that we can borrow money at those low rates, because that will save us an immense amount of money over the 20 years that we repay this loan or this bond. Just a rough figuring of the calendar is we may bring something to you at the January board meeting as far as a project. I know Samuel's group and Venture Architects are working on something. They should have something to go before the full Buildings Renovation Committee. And just for your reference, that committee is the group of about 30 people that's heavily weighted with community leaders. That project will be taken to that committee, and if they approve of it, it will come to you, the board, for final approval. That may occur in January, although I have to qualify that by saying we're coming into the holidays, so people's schedules and things will be a problem. But I can assure you that by the February meeting, we will bring something to you. And the game plan is not to waste time in construction season. What I'd like to see is us to start to break ground in the spring. The low-hanging fruit, the easy things to do would be, for instance, Mr. Tim, your project in the Poughkeepsie area for a new EMS station, because that will not require the logistics that you'll have in this building, moving people out, fooling around with duct work and everything else. It'll just be construction from the ground up. But I'd like to see that before you for consideration and approval, perhaps in January, more likely in February, but groundbreaking and actual construction taking place in the spring. And we'll talk about that more when it comes before you. Now, to end on a happy note, because it is Christmas, we've already heard about our great 4-Hers, and I know I sent an email to you about 10 days ago. The reverse Christmas parade that we did was not something that we had to do. It was not something that necessarily is a part of the function of county government, but Mrs. Collada was with me, and I know Sheriff Zolke and a number of his staff were there as well. And I think that they will agree with me that it was amazing the number of people who came there and amazing the number of people who thanked us for doing that. It's important that during this pandemic, we empathize with the suffering that people are having, and it's not necessarily always financial suffering. It could be psychological suffering because the world is turned upside down. The things that kids normally do at Christmas, they can't do at Christmas, and you really can't explain to a 5-year-old what a pandemic is or why they can't go sit on Santa's lap, et cetera. But we were able to alleviate a little bit of that suffering through the reverse Christmas parade. And as I said in that email, these things don't happen by accident or magic. They require creativity and people working hard. And your county staff has done that. And I want to personally applaud all of them for doing that. So more things to come. 2021 will have its own challenges, but as I said, we're holding our own, and we're doing much better than a lot of places are. So that's all I have unless somebody has any questions. Very good. Thank you.
And I might add, if you want to swing by the fairgrounds on your way home, it is lit up. He's got the lights on a timer. So it's beautiful. I get to drive by it all the time. So if you get a chance, go by. The Parks Department has done a fantastic job. It looks really nice. Okay, thank you, Mr. Civic. Next, we will go to the Child Support Office Annual Report, and that is Director Kim Stebbins.
Good evening. I'm here to talk to you about the Child Support Agency here in Waushara County. So I'll go over our organizational chart. So we are administered by the federal program, which is the Office of Child Support Enforcement. And on the state level, the Bureau of Child Support manages the program here in Wisconsin. And then we have, each county has their own child support agency. And there are a number of tribes that also now have their own child support agencies. So here in Waushara County, I am the director. We have legal counsel that is the Corporation Counsel. And then right now we have 3 full-time child support specialists that do the case management. We get our funding from the state level and federal dollars, and then the county picks up whatever funding that is missed. So I wanted to share with you just a short video. It's a really nice overview about child support. We do both financial and case management services. So Barry, if you want to go ahead and play that. Okay. Well, it was a little bit quieter than I had hoped, but lesson learned. Hopefully you got some of it out of that by viewing. So we'll move on. And so the big issue this year has been COVID-19, obviously, in the pandemic and child support. So how has that affected our office and participants? So the court was shut down. I believe it was May and most of June. So that really created a backlog of cases that we originally had scheduled, and we had to push them out. It was very frustrating for us. It was very frustrating for our participants who needed to have cases established or enforcement for prior non-compliance. It was just, it was a difficult time. Right now, our courts are in person. We're lucky enough that we're able to do that right now with our circumstances here in our county. We do provide phone appearances generously if requested. We're able to safely still participate in genetic testing to establish paternity through our lab. We have a nurse that comes in on our paternity dates, and she does the swab of the DNA, so we're able to do that safely. We had some struggles with getting service of process. During the pandemic, when it initially had started, I think there was a lot of fear for the process servers to go out and serve people. That has relaxed now that we know more about the virus and how to do things more safely. So that has not been an issue going forward. So the state also had suspended liens for new liens. So if anybody was affected by the pandemic and fell behind in their support, they wouldn't be adversely affected by an administrative lien or credit bureau reporting. And that was suspended through August. We also were told to negotiate lien releases on individuals who may have been impacted. If they needed to sell a vehicle, we should just try to work with them as best as we can and not expect them to pay their full lien amount. So the stimulus payments, the child support was one of the, or I believe the only thing that was eligible for an intercept on the economic stimulus payments. So we did receive stimulus payments, which went towards the arrears. We're able to increase our arrears collection on some cases that might have been just out there and no payment in quite some time. The stimulus were treated the same as a federal tax offset for distribution and hierarchy. Unemployment, we worked with individuals who were eligible for unemployment and awaiting back payments. I know that was a difficult thing for a lot of individuals to get their unemployment right away. So we were understanding of that. We were able to deduct the weekly payments from the unemployment and the economic impact payments. We did connect people to work programs. We do have a child support liaison through Forward Service Corporation, and they were still able to connect to individuals by phone. They connect participants with eligible programming that might be out there for them that they might not be aware of, and to help them with barriers with seeking employment. The enforcement impact. We have individuals who have what we call remedial contempt orders for not complying with child support. During the time of the pandemic, when it was first started, we did, when the courts were back on, we were able to get those individuals back into court and adjust their purge conditions, what they call it, so they wouldn't be adversely affected for not paying if they weren't able to during the time frame. So we use discretion also when filing new contempt motions for somebody who was not paying. And we have not really utilized the license suspension. We're just trying to work with people as best as we can. Performance, we run on a federal fiscal year, so you'll see federal fiscal year 19 and 20, and then I have the percent of change. the child support collection rate went down. Obviously, I believe that's due to the pandemic and people not able to pay their full child support amount. That would be their monthly payments. We did see an increase of the arrears collection. That would probably be due to the stimulus payments that we were able to intercept from individuals. And the court order rate and paternity establishment, we were doing well in those areas too. We do have a standard. We have to reach 80%, or that's the threshold we should be reaching. So we did at least get that in the arrears collection, court order, and paternity established areas. But many of the other agencies in Wisconsin also had trouble with the child support collection, obviously, due to the circumstances. What's new? The child support online services, they've done an update to their system. So it's very much easier to get access to their online accounts. We've seen people utilize that more from their smartphones. They can update their contact information. They can see enforcement actions and view account information. That has been really helpful to prevent individuals from coming into our office and asking questions. They can go right online and look at their account, and then they can phone us if they have additional questions. We have contracted with GovPayNet, which is a company that allows for credit card payments. We can accept them in the agency, or we do have a link on the county website so individuals can click and it'll go right to the page and they can make a payment, and our office gets an email right away stating who made the payment, which has been really helpful and a great option when we're talking to people about ways to come up with their support or making negotiations. Administrative paternity, that is new legislation that went into effect August 1st. It's a new way of, or say another way of establishing paternity or legal fatherhood through genetic tests. The statute also called for mandatory genetic testing when we have to bring a paternity action into court, which that change has increased our costs for genetic testing. That wasn't the case before, and now when we have to go into court, someone cannot just admit paternity without genetic tests being completed first. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I thank you for listening and bearing with me with my video that I thought would be great, but wasn't so great. So
I thought it was
thank
very
you.
good. Did you know when you play it softly, then people have to listen?
Right.
Good plan, Kim.
Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you very much. All right, next we have the Surveyor's Office Annual Report. Jerry Smith, would you like to take care of that for us?
It's been a busy year for me, the pandemic notwithstanding, and actually partly because of the pandemic. A lot of people had more time to look over their property lines, have questions, so I spent a lot of time, in particular in the spring, answering questions about boundaries and section corners and property descriptions, that sort of thing. Did some work with the highway department as well this year with looking at right-of-ways on various roads throughout the county. Continuing, as I was last year, working on the Bannerman Trail as well. Probably a third through it at this point, something like that, but getting there. I'm almost done with the amount of section corners I do. I usually do close to double what the contract requires this year. Did the town of Coloma, and I think I'm probably 10 corners left to do, and those will be done before the end of the year. I took a part of a vacation here, as I do every year, from field work during deer season, because I don't go out during deer season in the field. I generally try not to irritate armed people, so. Coming up in the next year, we've been talking about this for some time, and some of you probably know I'm kind of old school, and I'm not particularly fond of getting all my information on the internet. I'm not at all sure, and I guess I'm not convinced that I'm doing my due diligence if I get all the information I need to do a survey just from the internet. But the pandemic's changed my mind a little bit, just for the simple fact that it's very difficult for some people to come in here, especially when they're doing a lot of surveys, and in various counties, it's hard for them to do that. Zach and I have been working on this for a little while. We hope to have the section corners themselves. Zach's right after tax season here, he's going to be working on an app that we can put up on the website that'll allow people to take a look at those section corner tie sheets so that they'll be able to get those online. We already have the certified survey maps are online already, but there's plats of survey that are slightly different than certified survey maps that aren't online. That's going to be a little more difficult. Those were started to be scanned a number of years ago. So we kind of have to go back through those now and see if everything is scanned. So we're kind of debating whether it's easier just to rescan them all rather than try to do it the other way. We've had a lot of opinions about how we should serve those. I think Zach and I came up with what we think is the best idea, partly because we'll be using some funds from the Wisconsin Land Information Grant to pay for the scanning. And with that, when you use that grant money, that information has to be available to the public virtually for free. And what we're looking at doing is attaching those images to the GIS map. So if you're looking at a specific property, you can take a look at it, click on it, and say, yeah, there's a survey here. It was done by so-and-so in this date, and here's a link to the image. So we think that's the best way to do that. It's going to be very hard for, Zach's got his plate full as it is. It's going to be very hard to do that. So we're also looking at using an intern during the summer to come in and help with that once we get that rolling. So when we're going to finish that exactly, I can't really say. We'd like to get it done by the end of 21, but that may be reaching just a little bit. So, but again, apparently old dogs can learn new tricks, because again, I was skeptical about this, and I always felt that you really weren't doing your due diligence unless you came into the courthouse. But again, my mind's been changed a little bit about that. So anyone have any questions? Yes, sir.
So are CSMs available to the public now on the internet or not?
Yes. Yes.
How do you get to them?
At a cost through the Register of Deeds office.
Pardon?
Through the Register of Deeds office. If you go to the Tapestry app that's on their website, you can get to the certified survey maps there.
But they're not free.
They're not free.
Any other questions? Thank you very much, Jerry.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, next we have discussion of possible motion action items, system access addendums. Okay, motion by Mr. Bompiglio to approve, and a second by Mr. Cap. Do you have any questions concerning this? Barry's here and he could probably answer them for us. No questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, next we have tentative agreements with EMS Employees Union Local 425 IAFF. Motion by Mr. Piaski to approve, second by Mr. Kirschner. Any questions or comments? Would you like a roll call vote?
I just want to make a comment that in my government career, I've always been on the side of management. these union members really stepped up. They agreed to take a 0% for 2021 in solidarity with the non-union employees here. And I think that if you run into any of these fellows, please let them know how proud you are of them.
Ruth, would you like a roll call vote? Okay. Larry?
I just wondered how the percentage of increase was determined.
Well, Ruth was mainly set at the bargaining table. It's just a matter of negotiation. I will tell you, one of the concerns I had when I first came here is I saw, I can't remember who provided this to me, but the percentage of wage increases that we've had over the previous 10 years, and they were very low, 1.5%. I think since I've been here, this is my fourth budget. I think the good times were in 2018 where we had a 2% increase. We are falling further and further behind the rate of inflation. So those increases may shock you initially, but the reason why they're higher than you would normally expect is because we have a lot of ground to make up to make us competitive. And it's also only fair that the employees are paid a market rate. We can never compete with the private sector, but now we're having trouble competing with the public sector. So we've got to do something about that.
I agree with you, but I just wondered how the numbers were determined.
It was a matter of negotiation, give and take. Ms. Zalsky can offer some further detail if there is any, but it's just the negotiation you would have when selling a piece of property or whatever. You try to meet middle ground. We need more of that.
Because it's going to determine to some extent of what our increase is going to be for the rest of the employees for the county.
It certainly will, but I would note that the rest of the employees of the county, the non-union employees, are in the same bad situation that the union employees are, and that their wage increases over the last decade or so have been under the rate of inflation, and that is leading to recruitment and retention problems. And that's county government is a retail business. We're not like Google where we just put a couple of software engineers and in a building somewhere and they go ahead and run the operation. We need people, boots on the ground, dealing with folks, whether it's law enforcement, paramedics, social workers, et cetera. And we have to pay them at least what the market rate is. Otherwise, we're going to lose them, and we are losing them. Mr. Donaldson has a heck of a hard time maintaining staffing, primarily because of the wages.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Civic. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next, we'll go to resolution number 35-12-20, a resolution authorizing the cancellation of outstanding checks. That was in your packet.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Wadle, second by Mr. Lauer. Do you have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next, we have resolution number 36-12-20, acknowledgement of Kathy Clayman's service to Waushara County. Would you like to read that for us, please?
Whereas Kathy Clayman was hired as the Victim Witness Coordinator beginning her employment December 18th, 1991, and whereas under the oversight of Kathy Clayman, the Victim Witness Coordinator has gone from a part-time employee assisting the District Attorney's Office to a full-time employee charged with overseeing compliance with Chapter 950 Wisconsin statutes and the newly adopted Marcy's Law, in addition to assisting victims and witnesses throughout the court process. And whereas Kathy Clayman received honorable mention for outstanding victim advocacy for the Wisconsin Victim Witness Professional Association in both 2007 and 2014. And whereas Kathy Clayman received the Sally Carpenter Career Achievement Award in 2008. And whereas Kathy Clayman represents and protects the human emotions impacted by crime and does so with patience, empathy, and grace that will be difficult to replace. And whereas we acknowledge and thank Kathy for her dedicated and conscientious service as Victim Witness Coordinator, diligently serving Waushara County for the last 29 years. Now therefore be it resolved by the Waushara County Board of Supervisors that the County Board, on behalf of the grateful citizens of Waushara County and the employees of Waushara County, does hereby commend Kathy Clayman for her many dedicated and compassionate hours of service as the Victim Witness Coordinator, and we wish Kathy good health and happiness in her much-deserved retirement.
Thank you, Megan. Okay. We need a motion. Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Bonfiglio. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next, we have resolution number 37-12-20, acknowledgement of Mike Kelly's service to and retirement from Waushara County Highway Department. Motion by Mr. Eckstein, second by Mr. Kirschner. Do you want to go ahead, Megan? Megan, do you want to read it? Thank you.
Whereas the County of Waushara wishes to take this opportunity to express its appreciation to Mike Kelly for more than 22 years of service and dedication to Waushara County, and whereas acknowledgement is given to Mike for the conscientious and dedicated service he gave the citizens of Waushara County. Now therefore be it resolved by the Waushara County Board of Supervisors that the County Board, on behalf of the grateful residents of Waushara County, does hereby commend Mike Kelly for his long, distinguished, and conscientious service as Superintendent at the Highway Department, and every good wish goes to Mike for a long and enjoyable retirement filled with contentment and good health.
Thank you, Megan. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, next, we have resolution number 38-12-20 regarding the dedicated work and contributions of Elaine Wadel to the residents of Waushara County and the Treasurer's Office. Motion by Mr. King, second by Mr. Tim.
Whereas Elaine Wadel served in the Treasurer's Office as both a Deputy Treasurer and the County Treasurer, and whereas Elaine served the department and Waushara County with dignity, respect, and commitment for the work she performed for 36 years, and whereas Elaine's dedication, compassion, and support to the operations of this department helped to better serve those in our community for decades. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Elaine Wadel be recognized for her many years of service and contributions to the Treasurer's Office, the state of Wisconsin, and the residents of Waushara County. We wish you good luck in your retirement and thank you.
Thank you, Megan. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next, we have resolution number 39-12-20, amending resolution number 19-7-19, Capital Improvement Plan 2020 through 2024. Motion by Mr. Piaski to approve. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Kirschner. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next, we have ordinance number 657, an ordinance to renumber Articles 2 and 3 and 4, and to create a new Article 2 of Chapter 22, Waushara County Code, Health and Sanitation. Motion by Mr. Lauer to approve. Second by Mr. Eckstein. Any questions or comments? Was this your homework while you were recuperating from your knee surgery, Patty? No. Oh, okay. Good job, Ruth. All right. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Next, we have ordinance number 658, an ordinance amending Chapter 50, Article 4, ATVs, Waushara County Code. Motion by Mr. Wadel, second by Mr. Cap. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Now we have appointments, and we have only 2 people to appoint to the Veteran Service Commission. Their terms will be from January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2023. Well, that's Mr. Blasik from Wautoma. Ms. Diedrich, Barbara Diedrich, will be from January 2021 to December of 2022. Motion by Mr. King. Second by Mr. Eckstein. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, I hope that you got a chance, and I think that came sometime this afternoon, that Megan forwarded us a letter from the librarian, Colette Ross, from the the Leon Saxville Library. It was a very nice letter thanking the board for the funds that she received for her library and letting us know some of the things that they've been trying to do over there to keep things going and to provide services to their patrons. So I thought it was very nice of her to send that, and I hope you'll get a chance to read it. All right, do we have any board suggestions for future agenda items?
Move to,
And thanks for sending that on, Megan.
move to adjourn.
All right, motion by Mr. Exine to adjourn, a second by Mr. Tim. We are adjourned.
I like it.
You're pretty quiet tonight, Brandon. Do ya? I thought for a minute there you had a Marine Corps shirt on, but I see it's. I don't know why.
Oh.
Are we named?
I'll pass that on.
Oh, God.